Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey, bestie!
Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com. Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits. And their habits decide their futures. Also, this one's from Mike Tyson. The old, one of my favorite quotes of all time. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But here's another one from Mike. And I quote, "Discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it." End quote. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a glorious Monday here at 93.7 The Ticket. Check out all things at theticketfm.com. The Adam Carriker Show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. What you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. They just had a big meeting. No, not the revenue sharing one. A big meeting in the college football world, and absolutely nothing came out of it. They basically just talked about how they're going to meet in a month again and discuss the same things all over again. So that's all the time we're going to spend on that in the show today. But what you're going to hear, Husker sports, college football, sports in general, what you're going to get, unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. As you might expect, it's a loaded show. Nebraska basketball wins the inaugural Crown Tournament Championship. They get 2 big-time transfer portal commits as well. Nebraska basketball has a huge week. Husker sports update. Softball, Mollywops, Iowa, doesn't quite get the sweep. Baseball gets a couple of wins. Doesn't quite get the sweep, but things looked a little bit more up over the weekend. Husker sports roundup. Final 4 talk the championship game. Who's going to win, Houston or Florida? People might as well know I've already won my bracket. The moment Duke went out, I won. The moment Duke went out, I wanted to see Duke and Florida. I thought they were the 2 best teams. I actually was the only person in my house that stayed up and watched the end of Houston and Duke. It was a Saturday night. What a crazy ending. All right. I love Kelvin Sampson, the Houston head coach. He's been a good coach for a long time. Somehow flown under the radar. We'll talk about that. and lots of Husker football. Matt Rhule says the offensive line has been a highlight throughout spring ball so far. We're through 7 practices. A highlight. The defensive line is going to be one of the best D lines around. Our wide receivers are elite. These are all things we've heard throughout the offseason. Jake, we're going to dive into how much stock we put into this. I suppose it's better than saying we suck and we're going nowhere. So there is that. I've got a couple of clips we're going to play as well from Rhule's press conference. Also, J.D. Pickell, a former player of Rhule. Okay, now does the National College Football Show. But he played for him at Rhule, played for Rhule at Baylor at least 1, if not 2 seasons. He weighs in on the future of Nebraska football. We got a clip from that show as well. So lots to talk about. Nebraska basketball. Right off the top. Man, it was a rough ending to the regular season, as we all know. Well, before we dive into that, let's talk about a couple of their new additions. We talked about Iowa transfer Price Sanford. All right, had committed to Nebraska. That was on Friday. But a little bit more on that, because he talked about the atmosphere in Pinnacle Bank Arena. If you remember, when Iowa played Nebraska in Pinnacle Bank Arena, they kind of mollywopped us. It was not pretty on senior night, unfortunately, or senior day, whatever it was. But he talked about that atmosphere and how that mattered to him. That stuck out to him. Husker Nation can make such an impact, positive or negative sometimes, depending on what certain folks are saying, and then the squeaky wheel sometimes becomes a little too loud and may come across as a majority, whether they are or not. But Husker Nation can have a gigantic impact. Price Sanford said the atmosphere in Pinnacle Bank Arena, the times he's been here, made a huge impact on him wanting to come to Nebraska. Also, kind of out of nowhere, the Huskers over the weekend, on Saturday, I believe it was, landed Central Michigan transfer Ugnius Juravicius. Did I even come close to saying that right?
I think that's pretty good.
All right, we'll go with that. 6'10", 220-pound forward, averaged 16.2 points per game, 7.3 rebounds per game. First team All-MAC honors as a junior this past season. Was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. So big week for Nebraska basketball. Obviously winning the Crown Tournament as well. They beat UCF 77-66. Now, there were points in this game where Nebraska was down, like big time, double digits. And it's in 2 of the 4 games they played in the Crown Tournament, they were down, I believe, by 14 points to Arizona State at one point. They found ways to come back and win. There was a point where the Nebraska versus UCF had a 10-0 run, and then over a span in the second half, or I believe it was the fourth quarter, 5:34 span, 5 minutes, 34 seconds, they outscored UCF 21-3. So they showed a lot of mental toughness and resilience the way the regular season ended. It's embarrassing to be one of only 3 teams not to make an 18-team Big Ten tournament. That's embarrassing. They showed resilience to come back from that. That's not easy. That's kudos to Hoiberg. That's kudos to the leadership in that locker room. That's kudos to the seniors. That's kudos to Connor Essegian, who stepped up. I've been saying we got to get more out of him. If you're going to be a guy who primarily shoots and scores, we need more points. Hey, he did that in the Crown Tournament, the championship game specifically. Actually has made more 3-pointers now than Keisei Tominaga did. Just if you didn't know that. All right, here's a couple of things just for fun. Then we'll get a little bit more serious about this Crown Tournament championship. Smile if your program has reached more title games than Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, UConn, men, not women, and USC combined when it comes to the college basketball Crown Tournament. That's from Ben Stevens on Twitter. All right, let me see. This was an interesting one I saw after, we beat Boise, hadn't played UCF yet. This guy posted this. Let me see. Maybe Fred knew the best thing for the program was to miss the Big Ten tournament and then go win the crown. We are playing in April in the Final Four tournament on national TV as far as the crown. No way that happens if we get bounced from the dance in the first round if we made the tournament. Maybe, just maybe, Fred knew what he was doing to get the exposure needed to build the program. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would buy into all that. I think an NCAA tournament appearance would still be preferred, or at least a Big Ten for a tournament performance or appearance.
I would agree with that. Like I said, just having some fun here. That is a very real take that someone put online, though. All right. This has been put out there a few times, but Nebraska has 0 NCAA tournament wins. But it's okay. Nebraska has more crown wins than any other Big Ten team in history. All right. Should we get a little bit more serious? All right. Fred Hoiberg, first coach to have back-to-back 20-plus win seasons at Nebraska since Danny Nee did it in the late 90s. Were you aware of that, Jake?
I was. I still, it's hard. Like the whole thing is just kind of interesting because it's new, but to like think, did they earn 20 wins this season? I mean, they did. They went out and won.
Yeah,
them.
21 to be exact.
Yeah.
Seventh most all-time in Husker basketball history for one season, by the way. You're having a hard time with this, aren't you?
It's just, it's hard to mentally put where this season is because they didn't make the conference tournament.
Well, here's something else for you to chew on, Jake. All right. This is the first winning season for both football and basketball in the same year since 1995, 1996.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I did not know that one. I didn't need to hear that.
Dude. We're trying to have fun. Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? Goodness gracious. If you didn't know, Bryce Williams, Nebraska's all-time, all-time season leading scorer now as well. Bryce Williams became Nebraska's single-season scoring leader with 713 points on the season after his 21-point performance on Sunday. Past David Hoppin, who played in 84-85, had 704 points, and James Palmer Jr. had 708 in 2018-2019. All right. But the MVP of the tournament was actually Juwan Gary. I thought Juwan Gary played his best ball of the year. All right, we're going to indulge me for another second, Jake. 37 Division I programs all time have won the NCAA tournament. 54 Division I men's programs all time have won the NIT. You know, you got the little smirk. You know where I'm going with this. Only one Division I men's program all time has won the college basketball crown and the NIT. Thank you. All right. Get a little bit more serious here. For me, when it comes to the crown, it's interesting because you see some people being like, so we're the 69th best team in the country. Well, it's better than how I felt at the end of the regular season. In other words, I'm not that excited about it. There's other people who are like really excited about this. Here's what it means to me. To me, is this like winning a national title? No, it's not. Is this something that we've only accomplished one other time, something similar to in our entire basketball program's history? Yes, the 1996 NIT. It's the only other time we've ever done anything like this. So it's all relative. There was a time when Nebraska winning 9 games would have got a coach fired. Now, we'd probably all pile on the streets of Lincoln and celebrate. I exaggerate only a little bit. It's all relative. It's all based on perspective. It's all based on what recency bias, like what you expect based on what's recently happened. Here's why I put stock in this. I put stock in this because the end of the regular season was so bad, they could have just gone down the tubes, and they didn't. They went out and they won 4 straight games. Twice they were down by double digits in this tournament, darn near 15 points both times. UCF Sunday, and again, 14 points versus Arizona State in the first game of the Crown Tournament. There's something to be said for Fred Hoiberg and the coaching job he has done since the regular season ended. The way those seniors stepped up, the way the locker room stepped up. Kudos to Juwan Gary for winning the tournament MVP. Bryce Williams setting the single-season scoring record. Connor Essegian showing what he's capable of. It gives you reason for excitement going into next year. And then the other thing, when you add an all-MAC type performer, when you take away a player from Iowa, and then he comes talking immediately about the atmosphere in Pinnacle Bank Arena, to me, I look ahead to next year. And I'm like, man, I'm fairly excited about – you got Rink Mass coming back. Sam Hoiberg, he's coming back, right? He's not graduated.
Yeah, he's coming back.
So Essegian, like at the end of the regular season, I was like, oh, God. The crown? And then the roster is going to be struggling. I'm sure we'll do some things in the transfer. I was just like, oh, God. That's how I felt. Like, just being honest, not trying to be rude or disrespectful. It's like, oh. Now I'm like, all right. We got some momentum. They showed some stuff, some stuff from the inside out. They easily could have folded. And we can go through a million stats if you want. Maybe Jake's got some he wants to share. For me, when you look, okay, and I'm not saying we're going to go on a Michigan-type run in football in Nebraska basketball here. But what was it, Harbor? They about fired Jim Harbaugh at one point. It took him like 7-8 years to get where he wanted. Maybe this is the turning point for Hoiberg, where we kind of get going in the right direction. And what's realistic success for Nebraska basketball? Make the Big Ten tournament, win a game or two in the Big Ten tournament, make the NCAA tournament, and get that first freaking ever win in the NCAA tournament. It'd be the best season we'd ever had here at the University of Nebraska. Like, I look at next year, we still got to do some things with this roster, to be clear. But I look at next year and I'm like, that doesn't seem so ridiculously ridiculous anymore. That's why this matters to me. It shows me some stuff from the culture, from the coaching, to the guys in that locker room, to who's bought in, to who's not bought in, to what happened, to how they bounce back. One of the most up and down teams I have ever seen in my life. Beat more ranked teams than we ever have in the history of Nebraska basketball one year, don't make the Big Ten tournament, come back and win 4 straight, win the crown. It's there. It's there. It's there. The possibility of making at least a little run in the Big Ten tournament next year, whatever that looks like, and winning an NCAA tournament game. It's legit there. Will it happen? I don't know. I got to see what else happens throughout the offseason. But I am legit 20 times more excited about Nebraska basketball going into next year than I was a few weeks ago. I'm already excited about Nebraska women's basketball. We're going to get two injured players back. Brett Prince is going to be back. Obviously, we're going to miss Alexis Markowski, but Amy Williams has hit her stride as a coach. By the way, there is some action in the transfer portal there. Nothing official that can be announced yet. Just a little action, Jake.
Good action?
Yes. I should explain that. I'm sorry. I thought
so
the tone.
You're scaring me now.
Yeah, I thought the tone would indicate that it was positive. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, positive. There's connections being made. All right, Jake. I'm just going to be honest. You seem a little grumpy today. You got a case of the Mondays, I can tell. So go ahead and rip apart, chew up, and crap out everything I just said. Go ahead. Start with your daggers.
Well, I don't have any daggers here as far as stats or anything. I think Nebraska, again, this kind of changed the narrative on how to see the season ends. It's great to see Juwan Gary and Bryce Williams go out like this. Bryce Williams, maybe one of the best basketball seasons here in history for Nebraska. But it's just kind of, it's interesting to kind of go through your feelings about it, right?
You're struggling.
Because, well, I am, because it's just, the whole Crown tournament, it's new, the money, I think the exposure, all that sort of stuff went well. And how could it be any better than you going out there and winning it? But, it does kind of change the narrative of the season in a positive way, and that's good. But by definition, right, in this tournament, you didn't beat any NCAA tournament teams. You were one of the.
This is true.
You were one of the favorites in this tournament to begin with. You played, I think, one team in Boise State at full strength. Other teams, UCF had 2 guys that are playing that are in the transfer portal that are leaving, and their leading scorer who did not play at all because he already hit the transfer portal. Arizona State, the team you beat first, was 13-19, I think, to end the season. So, it's interesting. I think it was worth going. I think it was definitely worth, the experience for Nebraska. I think it's better for a lot of those guys that are coming back. Good to send the seniors out, and certainly the money and exposure helps. But does it turn this season into a success? That's the interesting point that I want to kind of see how people feel about it. Talking to Eric Strickland the last night, is that he talked about the NIT championship that they won and the run that they made. And that's something that we, as Nebraska basketball fans, we don't have a whole lot to cling on to. So that's something that we cling on to. He said, we had a 10-game losing streak that year. But whenever anybody talks to me about that year, it's about the NIT championship. So I think years from now, I think that's what we're going to think. We're not going to remember, well, they lost 5 or 6 here. But it almost kind of furthers the belief that this was an NCAA tournament team, or that this, very well could have been the team to win one game in the NCAA tournament, at the very least make the Big Ten tournament, obviously. So it kind of confirms that this is a pretty good team. And then again, once you get into the numbers of, they won 21 games this year, but they had the opportunity to win, more games at the end, again, against lesser competition than maybe we would have wanted to see historically, because you'd at least play one game in the Big Ten tournament. So I want to celebrate. I want them to hang a banner. I've said that before. I do think they should hang the banner. I think they should get more banners raised up in Nebraska in PBA. And I know people will say, well, because they put it all together on this one banner. It's like NIT appearances and NIT championship. And here's this conference tournament appearance and championship. And I think, maybe they're doing that to keep it professional, look less like a college arena in there. But I like the college arena feel. I'd like more banners up there. So I think they should put a banner up. I think it does at least make us change our narrative on the season, whether we want to consider it a major success or not. It at least makes you think twice about the end of the season, which was obviously kind of a catastrophe. I've never seen a team fall apart like that. As far as just not being able to win one final game to push them into the NCAA tournament.
Fair points. I think there's a couple of reasons this sticks out to me. Number one, we've only done one thing like this in the history of our basketball program. So now we've done this twice, and one of those 2 times was this year. So I do think that needs to be remembered. All right. Speaking of banners, real quick, I've got this note in front of me. Did you know that Iowa has a banner in their indoor facility? I'm looking at the picture right now. It says the 1900 Big Ten champs. You know the problem with that?
What's that?
Is if you look at the records of the teams that year in the Big Ten, Minnesota had a better Big Ten record and better overall win-loss record. Minnesota was 10-0-2. Iowa, overall, I don't know why they played so many different amounts of games, was 7-0-1. But in the Big Ten, Minnesota was 3-0-1. Iowa was 2-0-1.
You hang a Big Ten banner for going 2-0-1.
It's there. It's very real. I'm looking at this.
Yeah.
This was sent to me. I get the most interesting things sent to me, by the way.
But that's my point to Husker basketball. You might not have a whole lot, but what you do have, just put a banner up.
Well, it's real.
Other programs do it.
Our banner's at least real. It might not be a Big Ten championship, but it's real. It's not a made-up Big Ten title from the 1900s and hoping nobody remembers that far back. So, hey, we can get away with this. Anyways, I digress. I think for me, it's only happened twice in the history of Nebraska basketball. The NIT, something equivalent to this. Also, I'm factoring in the transfer portal guys that we've gotten. Because one of my big concerns going into next year is, oh, great, our 2 best players are gone. Okay. And by far our best leading scorer, Juwan Gary, MVP of the Crown Tournament. But now you start to see some of this action in the portal, and you start to, Rick Mast is coming back. And, for me, I kind of mixed in what they did and what I'm looking ahead to just a little bit. And that's why it sticks out to me. And I think there's reason for excitement. I mean, somebody put out a picture of the streets of Lincoln being flooded with people. And I was like, is this real? And they're like, no, it's not. Thank God. Because that'd be a little bit much. Okay. All right. Fred Hoiberg afterwards, and I quote, could not be more proud of how this whole thing turned out, end quote. Fred Hoiberg says the Huskers winning the Diamond Head Classic in December. That was in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Inspired their run at the Crown. He even mentioned Bryce Williams' paddle theme. Paddle theme. What the heck is that?
They gave him, he was the MVP of that tournament. I believe they gave him a paddle for it. Or at least there was a paddle in the post game.
What? Okay. I think I need more context, but that's okay. That was back in December. It's all I remember when we were playing in that. I'm literally in the press box at Yankee Stadium at the Pinstripe Bowl, and I was chatting with some other guys. But that's how long ago that was. But that's cool. Hey, it inspired them. It's kind of like Ohio State guys will tell you, getting spanked like a 4-year-old in Walmart for the 4th year in a row by their big-time rivals, Michigan, is what spurned their playoff run. Maybe the horrifically horrible end to the regular season for Nebraska's basketball program will be what kind of spurns more momentum and resiliency and whatever needs to be addressed going forward into next year. You are so skeptical, so doubtful. What happened to you this morning? What happened this weekend?
It's just a difference of opinion. I'm not sure that this is the turning point for the program. I am excited about some of the pieces they have added in the portal. And by the way, Ugnis Yariru Ship Vicious. Tough one to say. We'll all learn.
I think I did better, but I don't know if either one of us got it right.
Bryce Sanford, obviously, those are solid pieces. But this was Bryce Williams and Juwan Gary's team.
Yes.
So I view this tournament more as kind of a send-off to them. Yes, we had some, younger guys getting some experience. But there's a lot of work to be done for this to be a top half of the Big Ten team still in the transfer portal. So I'm not overly, I guess I don't necessarily directly relate this to success for next season.
Well, let me be clear. I'm not guaranteeing anything, so don't anybody hold me to anything. And as far as success, I see a reason for off-season optimism. Where at the regular season, I was like, oh, God, Like that's all I could think was, oh God. Like those two words. I was just like, Nebraska basketball. Oh. Like I just don't even want to. Like we talked about it, not at all. If you noticed, leading up to the Crown. I mean, I think it was Friday when Price committed to us, and that was it. I didn't really talk about it much before. I guess we talked about it after the Arizona State game, but I was just like having a hard time with it. So to be clear, I'm not guaranteeing anything. What I'm saying is now there's reason for optimism going into next year, where I had a really hard time with it before. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. There is one final thing, and then we should go to break in a couple minutes. If you win the Crown tournament, is it just a great thing your players get to split $300,000 and you enjoy the postseason while sending your seniors out on a high note? Or do you have to double back and examine how in the world you missed the Big Ten tournament? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it. I mean, we all knew that this probably was within them, though. I mean, that was part of the disappointment. Was this should be certainly a Big Ten tournament team. This should be an NCAA tournament team. So I think a little bit. I think it does a little bit of that.
I think I'm with Jake. It's a little bit of both. There's reason to celebrate. It shows some guts within the program. It also shows what you could have done before the Crown tournament and what was potentially there. So it's a little bit of both going forward. I do want to give a shout out real quick before we go to break. We got the national championship game tonight, Houston, Florida, men's Final Four. Sunday, UConn. I don't remember what the final score was. I quit paying attention at the end, and I would just like randomly check it online. It's like 83-59, but UConn mollywopped South Carolina. Gino Auriemma is somehow underrated. He's beyond well-known in women's college basketball, but as far as all-time greats, Anson Doran, the North Carolina soccer coach, needs to be talked about more. Look that guy up. Gino, like, all right, 19 times he's coached a team that went undefeated within conference play. 6 times they were undefeated the entire season. In basketball, the entire season, every game they played, they undefeated 6 times. Just won their 12th national championship under him since he became the coach in 1985. He's now 71 years old. He's won 8 Coach of the Year awards. It's like South Carolina, in some people's eyes, it kind of taken over as the premier program in the past 3 to 4 years in college basketball. Won some national titles. I mean, they were just rolling people. Number 1 overall seed going into the tournament. UConn number 2 seed. And I told you, I had them into the Final Four. I think the number 1 seed in their part of the bracket was USC. When we did our brief women's bracket prediction, I said I'm taking UConn. It's like 3 years in a row they've ousted the number 1 seed. I'm like, USC's done. I don't think I had UConn win it at all. I had UCLA. Man, they killed UCLA. They beat them by like 25 points. And these games weren't even close. Gino has coached teams that were great all year long, multiple times. As of late, and Paige Beckers, one of the all-time best. I mean, everyone wants to talk about Caitlin Clark, the former LSU girl. What's her name?
Flau'jae Johnson? Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, Caitlin's best friend. They want to talk about those two. Paige Beckers kind of flies under the radar. It is so awesome she finally got a national championship. Okay, and here's someone else that should be talked about. Sarah Strong got her first national title. She's a freshman. All right, her last few games in the tournament, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists. 22 points, 17 rebounds. Think about that. 4 assists versus USC. 22 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists versus UCLA. The 24, 15, and 5 was versus South Carolina. They went through 3 straight number 1 seeds and just mollywopped all of them. USC, UCLA. Okay, our Big Ten friends now, and then South Carolina. Shout out to Gino, Coach Auriemma. Shout out to UConn women's basketball. Why is that little state in the Northeast so good at basketball? Why? Men, women. The UConn men had won it 2 years in a row until this year. Is there just not enough room to go outside and play football so everyone just goes inside and shoots hoops? Is that what's going on there? Have you been in New York, by the way, or the Northeast, big cities? There's no room for anything. No wonder they're not good at football up there. Everyone just basketball gym, go inside and shoot all day when it's cold outside. That's why the Big East used to be so good at basketball. All right, I just thought I would shout that out. When we come back, we got more of a Husker Sports Roundup, Nebraska football at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We shall return.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
I'm Chief Dave Engler. When a fire truck hits a pothole with 12 tons of fast-moving equipment and crew, it's a problem. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue Lincoln's quarter-cent sales tax for street improvements. A vote against eliminates the street funding. A vote for will not raise your taxes and keeps the funding in place. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com.
We use our Lincoln streets every day, and so do first responders. But visitors and out-of-town commuters also do. A quarter-cent sales tax for streets passed by voters in 2019 makes those commuters pay about $6 million a year to improve streets. On your ballot in April is a measure to continue it. A vote against means no more funds from commuters. A vote for will not raise your taxes, and commuters still pay. Learn more at LincolnOnTheMove.com. Paid for by the City of Lincoln.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Hey, bestie.
Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to segment 2 here on the Adam Carriker Show. All right, check out The Ticket, 93.7 The Ticket, all things The Ticket, theticketfm.com, also Facebook, X. That's pretty cool. He's doing like a wheelie on a motorbike. You see that?
Hey, yeah.
That's insane, but awesome at the same time. I was driving down. I'm in the middle of promoting The Ticket, and I see this guy doing some life-altering thing that's pretty awesome in front of me. He's going down the middle of the street, got the front wheels up, got one leg on the seat, one leg hanging off to the side, going like 35 miles an hour. Fun to watch. Hopefully it ends well. I'm driving in St. Louis my rookie year. And to go down to the Edward Jones Dome, where we would play from my house, took 45 minutes. And you got to go down. I forget the name of the road or street at this point. You go like 75. I'm going 75. This motorcyclist goes by me like I am standing still. Like he had to have been going. I mean, I want to say he had to be going 125. Like it was like I was standing still. And then he pops a wheelie in the middle of it. Now he ended up fine, at least what I saw. But I was just like, oh my Lord, what are you? That guy was going 35. A little bit different, but. I was like, oh, my Lord, what are you doing? All right. Back to promoting The Ticket on its own radio channel. Check out The Ticket at ticketfm.com, YouTube, Facebook, every frickin' where. All right. You said you had some stuff off the text line. What do we got?
Yeah, plenty of response from the text line so far, so let's dive right into it.
Only read the ones that agree with me.
All right, let's work with that. Tommy does ask, Adam, would you hang a banner for the Crown? I can see if Villanova won, why they wouldn't hang a banner, but this match is Nebraska's best postseason success in basketball history.
Yes, I agree, and yes.
7432 text in every season. I contemplate on renewing Husker basketball season tickets again, and they proved I should again after the Crown.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not... Like when I say I'm now excited for Nebraska basketball next year, when I tell you I was like, oh God, at the end of the regulars, like that's all I could muster. Me, who talks 1,000,000 miles an hour and says 4 million words in a minute, I could only muster, oh God. Like that was like, now I'm like excited. Am I guaranteeing anything? Nope. Like, am I for sure that they're going to win an NCAA? Like that's my barometer. Are we going to finally get that first NCAA tournament win? Like that's my barometer going forward. No, but is there reason to be like, hey, there could be some fun things to watch next year, and maybe we finally get that NCAA tournament win? Absolutely. I'm with you.
Last one here. OG Les Lancaster says, I met Gino on a trip to Connecticut a couple years ago. I was a total stranger, and he sat there and shot the breeze with me for 20 minutes. I had to cut the conversation short.
Oh, you cut him off?
Sounds like it.
Wow. Wow. You should have been taking notes, busted out. You should have recorded everything that man said. I'm just saying. You did. You read only people who agreed with me. Who disagreed with me? Who agreed with you, Jay? Because we were on opposite sides today.
Let's see. There was somebody that was complaining about me, and well, that's not agreeing with me. He says, come on, Jake, got to be excited with a championship game win. This helps recruiting, especially with the transfer portal.
Yes.
I got to hope it helps us get back to the NCAA tournament next year.
Yes.
I don't think it really affects that too much.
Momentum.
We'll see.
How people view the program and recruiting, to his point. Is it a man or a woman? Can you tell?
I can.
To their point. To their point. I can't tell. All right. Like, I guarantee people are going to look a little bit of national TV exposure. Okay, we're not going to sit here and pretend like it's the Final Four or something. But people got to see Nebraska. They got to see success. They got to see excitement. They got to see people putting on the crown and celebration and everything else. Like, that's going to ring a little bit more true. When Nick Saban walks into somebody's room and he's recruiting, it's like, oh, my God, 7 national titles. Like, that matters. I'm not saying we just won 7 national titles. But when they're like, When Iowa can be like, yeah, Nebraska lost their last 5,000 games of the regular season. Want to go there? Now Fred Hoiberg can be like, nope, we won the Crown tournament and played way past the date that you played your last game. And so that's going to help. I like that people don't agree with you. This is fun. Do more.
I think that's all we got for now.
Oh, I believe there's more. Is there any more?
Oh, there's one more now here. Latex Mallard from MySpace says, very happy with the Crown win. Don't hang a banner. It screams settling for mid-level play.
Did you say MySpace?
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, I thought it was like, I'm like, MySpace isn't still around,
no.
is it?
No, I'm not checking our MySpace feed.
You have a MySpace feed?
No.
That'd be amazing and a waste of time. No banner. All right. They don't want to do a banner. You said you would do a banner. Though,
I
right,
would
Jake?
do a banner, yeah.
Jake's in a bad mood and he said he would do a banner. I can't argue with that. So we're going to go with, you don't want the banner? That's cool. We want the banner. And I guess we'll see what happens. Because there is an NIT banner, right?
Is there a banner celebration? Like, would you do the whole raise the banner, everybody looks up?
No.
That's too
I
much.
would just put it there.
Quietly put the banner up for the first exhibition.
That's how I would. I wouldn't do the whole. That's a little much.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Should we do a little bit of a Husker sports roundup?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we got a whole bunch of sports to get through here. Men's tennis rallies from behind to beat the Ducks from Oregon 4-3. I can't help but root for men's tennis now after interviewing their coach last week. Man, he's like the nicest guy ever. He's got it going in the right direction. All right, Nebraska softball, unfortunately, lost to Iowa on Sunday, but they did take the series. They were just going for the sweep of the Hawkeyes on Sunday. All right, they, on Saturday, set a school record. Their 18th run rule game. The game ends because you're beating the other team so badly. Called the run rule game. 18 times. They've already done it this year. That's a school record. They stomped a mud hole in Iowa on Saturday 14-1 and hit 6 homers on that particular day. So still a good season, strong season for Nebraska softball. Nebraska bowling punches their ticket to the Final Four. They are headed to Las Vegas. So that's going to be fun to watch. The Nebraska bowling team keeps rolling along, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Baseball took 2 out of 3 from Rutgers. They were going for the sweep again, like softball on Sunday. Didn't quite get it. All right. But they did take the weekend season series from the Scarlet Knights. All right. Let me see if I can get a little bit more info here. On Saturday, Tyler Stone drove in 3 runs with a double and a home run, lifting Nebraska to its 2nd consecutive series win at home. If you go back to Oregon State with a 10-5 victory over Rutgers on Saturday. We're just going to ignore the middle of last week. All right. At Hawksfield, at Haymarket Park, Nebraska, 14-17 overall, 4-7 in the Big Ten, scored 10 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors, while Rutgers recorded 5 runs and 6 hits. Stone was 2 for 3 on the afternoon at the plate with a double, a home run, 3 RBI, and 2 runs scored. Max Butenbach was 1 for 3 with a home run and 2 RBIs, while Case Sanderson drove in 2 runs and a hit. All right. Any quick thoughts on Nebraska baseball? I mean, we're getting to the point, like, that's why the Oregon State thing was so exciting. Like, we're getting to the point to the season. I'm like, you got a grace period in baseball and softball and basketball, not as much as football, though now with the college football playoff, who cares about the regular season? Sorry, I had to whine for a minute. I will rekindle that whining in this summer when we have a little bit more downtime from college sports. For now, it's time for baseball to get rolling. They got to get rolling. If they want to make a run, if they want to make an impact, they want to do something in the postseason. This is the team that won the Big Ten championship last year. Had a bunch of guys coming back. We're expected to be in the Big Ten championship this year. Them and Oregon were the 2 teams predicted to be there. I mean, I'm talking about UNO and Creighton last week, and I got fans coming at me like, oh, we could win them both, still be dead last in the Big Ten. Like, that's hurtful, people. I just want you to know that's hurtful. It hurts more that we lost to Creighton and UNO. But we got a chance. Of course, we have a chance. We have to start making a run now. What are your thoughts? I mean, what I'm saying is beyond obvious, but like, how do they do this, Jake? How do they get it going? I don't want to hear our ace pitcher is out. Everybody deals with injuries. It's part of it. Next man up. What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I still think you need to they need, like you said, some pitching help, in a different way of saying that, right? They still gave up 5.5 runs or so in this weekend series. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on your offense every game. But we'll see. They got Kansas here coming up on Tuesday before the weekend series with Iowa. Nothing too deep, but just kind of like you're saying, the time is now. That's why we're hoping that Oregon State victory would kind of shift things, because you want to fight back up close to 500. I think that's probably what you're hoping for, obviously, to make the Big Ten tournament, and that'll have to be your big run from there. Because unfortunately, I don't even know if they one out from here if they would get in that large bid. They're going to need to probably win that Big Ten tournament. So with that in mind, maybe it takes a little bit of pressure off and just kind of get your bearings, but they got to get going here to really position themselves to have confidence once it comes around.
If the season ends the way it's gone so far, this is obviously not what anybody wanted. Will Bolt, the players, fans. Okay. Sometimes things go this way, but it is a disappointment if this is how the season truly and winds up going. How big of a disappointment is it, in your opinion, Jake?
It's big. Again, it's kind of like it's just the momentum thing, right? Where it's like, all right, here's our chance to capitalize. We have one good year, and that's the whole. And I know we'll get to it later. Nebraska is back. Is Nebraska back? All that sort of thing. What made Nebraska's football spectacular for all those years, and the fan base coming back year after year was consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just kind of once you have a down season, you're back to the drawing board of how do we get back to where we were 2 years ago. So you're not building on top of that. So it would be obviously when you're picked to finish second in the league and you don't live up to those expectations, there's no way to spin it. It's a disappointment.
All right. I forgot to mention this when we were chatting about softball a minute ago. They do take on our good buddies from Creighton. All right. April 9th on Wednesday here in Lincoln. I'm at my 7-year-old soccer game this weekend, and there's a mom sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, I found your Facebook post about Creighton. Would you ever root for him?" Pretty funny. My wife later on was like, "Yeah, she went to Creighton. She's a huge Creighton fan." I was like, "Oh." And I was like, immediately, it's like one of those moments when you're like, what did I say? What did I say? What did I respond to her with? I was like, oh, boy. She was really nice, though. All right. Let's see what else we got, because we're going to take a quick break after this. When we come back, we got some volleyball news, some volleyball updates. All right, but real quick, men's gymnastics. All right. Yanni Chronopoulos grabbed gold in the rings of the Big Ten individual finals on Saturday night. The Huskers managed to get the top 4 finishes on still rings for the first time in program history. That's really impressive. 11 Husker gymnasts competed for their chance at Big Ten individuals, and the Big Red tied the 2025 team Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines for the most gymnasts competing at the meet. You know, there's different types of strength. When I watch gymnasts and what they do, the balance, the gracefulness, it's impressive. The rings. That is a different kind of strength that I do not possess. I'm not built for the rings. I have long levers. I weigh too freaking much. And when they're like way out, I don't know if you're not watching me, like my arms are way extended out. You put the legs in the air. Like that is one of the most physically impressive things when it comes to strength I've ever seen in my life. And I 1000% know that I would hurt myself if I ever tried that. Not even a joke. That's just the truth, ladies and gentlemen. All right. A couple of final thoughts here as well. Let's see. I believe this is tennis. I'm sorry, track and field. Track and field. 8 Huskers on the track and field team broke into or improved marks on the Nebraska all-time list at the Pepsi Florida Relays on Friday and Saturday. Cade Moran competed in the men's shot put invitational, throwing 18.85 meters. All right, for a 5th place finish. In the women's 100 meter, Darby Thomas ran a personal best 11.33, the 3rd fastest time in school history for an 8th place finish. If you ran the 100 meter dash, what do you think you could run it in, Jake?
I'm not sure.
3 minutes?
Yeah, by then.
Oh boy! All right. So I have a daughter who's Addison. She's 6th grade. She made nationals in 8th grade track. 7th grade, she did it again, the 100 meter and the long jump. She's very nice, very quiet. But she's got this little thing about her now where she kind of eyes me, and I'm just waiting for the day when she challenges me to an outright race. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what'll happen. The first 40 is mine. It is mine. Maybe the first 50. After that, I don't know. I'm not built for that. Like she's running the 100, the 200, the 400. Like to her, that's a warm up, the 100.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not built for this anymore. I don't even know if I was ever built for the 100. All right. What do we got here? Women's gymnastics. Huskers conclude 2024-2025 season in the NCAA second round. The Nebraska women's gymnastics team ended its season with a 195.675 in session 2 of the second round of the NCAA championships in Washington on Friday. All right, looking for anything final here. I believe that wraps it up for the Husker Sports Roundup, with the exception of a couple of things volleyball-wise. All right, we've got some news. Creighton's head coach, they got a new head coach. There's some updates with John Cook, the Supernovas. When we come back, we will discuss a little bit of volleyball. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Now's the perfect time to get even stronger at Planet Fitness. Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Mix up your routine or create a customized workout plan with free fitness training. That's right. Certified trainers, unlimited sessions with best-in-class equipment. Plus, there's over 2,700 convenient locations to choose from, with most open 24 hours. Save $28 or more today when you join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends April 11th. See Home Club for details.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Hey, bestie! Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
When your home fills up with family, Allo Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Allo Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Once again, check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com, Facebook, X, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast platforms, and or simply when you're in the car, just turn on that radio dial to 93.7. All right, couple of things. Number one, I need to draw a better picture of that motorcyclist because this dude was nuts. Like, I'm driving 75, and there's traffic everywhere. I tend to push how fast I'm going places, I'll put it that way. I couldn't have gone 78 if I'd have tried. There was too much traffic. This dude goes by me like I'm standing still, weaving in and out of traffic because he's on a motorcycle. He can do this like nothing, and then pops a wheelie. It's one of the most insane, unsafe, awesome, yet ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. And think about this. We're talking about, okay, I got to ask a question first. If we win an NCAA tournament game, would we hang a banner for that? Win the first round, lose the second round. We hang a banner for that.
I don't know about like its solo banner, but I think I think it'd be represented. Right now, again, they've got a lot of like their awards put up on one banner.
So we're going to hang a banner potentially for the Crown tournament, but not for actually winning an NCAA tournament game. The hypocrisy, I don't know if that's the right word. The insanity, the non-making any freaking sense of this occurred to me during the break, and I thought I'd bring it up.
That's not a championship, though. You can't have we won.
But which one would you rather have?
NCAA tournament.
Which one would you rather have, and then which one are we hanging the banner for?
I get it, but I don't know. I've never seen a banner that says we won one game in the NCAA tournament this year.
Well, we're essentially hanging a banner that says we're the 69th best team in the country. And yet I still think we should hang it. I'm just pointing out it doesn't make any sense, yet I haven't changed my mind. I just thought this was kind of an interesting little point here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of volleyball news before we talk football here in a few minutes as well. All right. Let me find my spot where I was. Oh, real quick. How did I miss this? Former Husker standout Spencer Swellenbach has been pitching really well for the Braves. In his last start, pitched 8 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 base on balls, 10 strikeouts on 99 pitches. What do you think of that, Jake? That's pretty freaking impressive.
Oh, yeah. I love the cheer for the former Huskers, and Swellenbach's been off to a great start to his career.
All right. Everybody's talking about the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees. Gag me. The Braves. They got this insanely talented roster. Can they upend everybody and win it all? Not can they. Like, what do you think the odds of that are this year? Especially with this Dodgers lineup as insane as it is. And then the Mets taking Soto from the Yankees. It was via the, free agency, but I'm gonna phrase it as they took him. It's more intriguing if I say it that way.
Well, the Braves are 1-8. I believe.
Are they seriously?
Yeah, I think they started 0-7. I don't think any team has ever made the playoffs after starting 0-7. So not off to a good start. We'll put it that way.
They got Strider, Ronald Acuna Jr. Come on now, what's going on? I got to tune into more baseball. I usually about this time when the NCAA tournament ends, when I start turning into a little bit more of Major League Baseball. I've obviously been on top of college baseball, Nebraska baseball, and softball.
So Swellenbach's the only one with a win on the Braves roster at this point.
1-8?
Yeah, 1-8.
What is going on?
Need to pitch Swellenbach more, maybe.
I guess. Every game. Let's go. All right. Attendance for the Omaha Supernovas match versus the Orlando Valkyries was 10,512 over the weekend. This is the 7th time in 9 home matches that Omaha has exceeded 10,000 fans. Does this surprise you? Especially now with 2 professional teams. Love Volleyball is up there as well. And they got Jordan Larson, Lexi Rodriguez. They got a bunch of former Huskers and well-known people. Yet the Supernovas, Love's doing well too as far as attendance. Don't get me wrong. But does this surprise you?
No, I don't think so anymore. People will try to hurt your feelings online by telling you Nebraska's a volleyball school. We absolutely are. And we're definitely a volleyball state as you kind of equate it here to pro volleyball there. You've got 2 pro volleyball teams in Omaha where, what other league does that make sense? It's volleyball. It's Nebraska. I'm not shocked.
I think I pointed this out before. I could only think of like New York has the Mets and Yankees. Chicago has the White Sox and Cubs. LA has had multiple pro sports teams in the same pro sport in the same city. I couldn't think of a 4th. Omaha, Nebraska is now the 4th. Can you think of another one?
No, I'd have to sit and think a little longer. No, those are the ones that come up.
Omaha, Nebraska. 2 pro sports teams in the same sport. in the same breath as LA, Chicago, and New York. Take that, the rest of America. All right. Nebraska's exhibition match on April 26th against Kansas on, phrase this right, spring game replacement weekend will be shown on the Big Ten Network. The start time is now 7 p.m. Also, John Cook will be working as an analyst for the Big Ten Network this spring. And what are they naming after John Cook? They're naming something after him. Jake's going to look it up real quick. We shall come back to that in just a minute. All right. See if I got any final thoughts here before we head to break. Yes. Huge news out of Omaha. All right. Kirsten Booth is stepping down after 22 years as Creighton's head volleyball coach. Check this record. She went 502 wins and 192 losses at Creighton and made the NCAA tournament for the past 13 straight years. Had a tremendous career, building them into a national power, flies under the radar, whether you're a Creighton fan or not. I mean, you can respect a well-built program and a good coach. The Blue Jays promote Brian Rosen to head coach, which, by the way, if you remember, we interviewed him last fall right here on this show. So maybe we'll have to get him back on the show. Did you happen to find an answer to that?
Yeah, so the University of Nebraska Board of Regents is considering a proposal to rename the home of Husker volleyball, the arena at Bob Devaney Sports Center, to the John Cook Arena. So it'd be John Cook Arena at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. Considering. Along with a bronze statue outside. Now, that's what I get excited for. Statues.
You like statues?
Oh, yeah. John Cook statue outside. That's actually a great idea for that environment.
That's pretty cool. All right. I just, that word considering is laughable. It's going to be a yes, and well-deserved. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got some clips from Matt Rhule's press conference. J.D. Pickell, former Matt Rhule player, talks about what he thinks Nebraska can do this fall, and a lot of interesting things. Hey, the offensive line's been a highlight. The defensive line is going to be one of the best around. We have elite wide receivers. We have a returning starting quarterback. Hey, these are all things that have been said throughout the offseason during press conferences down there at the good old University of Nebraska here in Lincoln. All right. How much stock should we put into it? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
When your home fills up with family, Aloe Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Aloe Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Aloe at 866-481-2556 or visit aloefiber.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's a glorious Monday. If you listen to hour 1, Jake's got a case of the Mondays, but we love him anyways. How you feeling in hour 2, Jake? Are you a little bit more awake?
Oh, I'm feeling way better. I just had a little taste of Husker football in the back with some Valentinos. So thanks to Valentinos for giving us some lunch today.
That sounds delicious. All right, I'm glad you're feeling better. You were a little cantankerous that first hour, but that's okay. All right, we are going to get into a whole lot of Nebraska football talk. Matt Rhule, J.D. Pickell. Jake's going to address that in a second, but real quick, before we do, your daily reminder, check out, if you're interested, we got K through 8th graders, boys and girls at home, the inaugural Carriker Chronicles football camp. We added Zach Wiegert last week. We're excited about that. Amon Green, Eric Crouch, yours truly. We have one more coach. I know exactly who it is. I'm just kind of holding on to it. I don't know, for fun. Plus, he's a great dude, and I want to let it build, and I'm excited. I gave the hint last week. We interviewed him right here in this studio last fall. So that's my hint. Do you have any clue who it might be? We have not interviewed a ton of people in studio, Jake. A lot of them over the phone, as much or more than anybody in the state, but not a lot of people in studio.
I can't think.
All your freaking naps, man. You got to wake up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Jake does a great job. But anyways, Carriker Chronicles inaugural football camp, Eric Crouch, Amon Green, Zach Wiegert, yours truly, and more to come. July 9th. If you want more info, go to carrikerchronicles.com. All right, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Autographs included, T-shirts included. Again, boys, girls, K through 8th grade. If you're just learning out or you want your youngster to learn the basic fundamentals, it's never too early. If you want to take your game to the next level, these are the guys that know how to frickin' do it. Again, carrikerchronicles.com to learn more and or straight up just register. It is going fast. I will throw that out there. All right. A couple of quick things, and then I'm going to throw it to Jake. He's got something off the text line that I 100% believe can be true. I saw this, though. Pizza shop workers took down an armed robber, but when police took off his mask, they discovered he was their old boss. Now, I thought that was interesting enough, and then the person in the comments goes, what kind of Scooby-Doo is this? And I was like, dude, that's totally what Scooby-Doo would have been. All right. And if you have kids, and you're old enough to have seen the original Star Wars movies, imagine the scene where Yoda's he's 900 plus years old. Okay, he's trained Luke how to be a Jedi at this point and all this good stuff. And they're in that swamp, and he's like right before he passes away. All right, so that's the scene that we've set here. Now let me read this. Once I became a parent, I finally understood the scene where Yoda gets so tired of answering Luke's questions and just dies. I was like, oh, man, I could totally relate to that. All right, Jake, what you got off the text line?
A few thoughts here. Wild Bill texts in and says, I saw Thunder Collins do the same thing on a motorcycle about 20 years ago.
So we cannot officially confirm this, but Wild Bill, I don't doubt you. I'll just put it that way. You got anything else, Jake?
Hizzleberry does ask, cowboy hat or not for the statue for John Cook?
Oh, you got to have the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I think it's a must. Aren't they? They're doing some sort of rope pull challenge or I don't know. That's not even what it's called. I am no cowboy in my own right. But some sort of rope pull challenge over a spring game replacement weekend in John Cook's honor or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. But you got anything else?
No, I just for the longest time I thought this guy's name was JD Pickle. So
well, so to be honest with you, I thought it was JD Pickle as well. He went to Cornell, and he gets accused of having an SEC bias, just like Josh Pate does. Do you know why? Because they have SEC bias, especially Josh Pate, who grew up in Georgia. And he's readily admitted, if you listen to what he says, he does a phenomenal job. But if you listen to what Pate says, he will say little things here and there. Like, I've been told my entire life the best football was in the SEC. And that's like in the middle of this long, hour-long show, but I'll be like, there it is. And he'll be like, oh, I never in a million years would have believed that Ohio State-Michigan would have been the best rivalry because it's outside the SEC. Like, he'll say little things here and there. And then he'll be like, well, that's where most of my fan base is in the SEC. Well, that's true. But you also have an SEC bias. Pickell actually has the same thing. But here's the thing. I thought it was JD Pickle for a long time as well. Admittedly, I watch a lot more of Josh than I do JD. Teach their own. But one time I heard JD say, because he was talking about Matt Rhule last summer and how he played for him under at Baylor. It was either 1 or 2 seasons. And he said his own name, and I forget what it was for, but he said JD Pickell. I was like, my instant thought, did you watch Family Matters growing up?
Yeah.
Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Did I do that? All that stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Stephon Urkel, when he became the cool guy. That's what I thought of.
That's right. Yeah.
He's not Stephon Urkel. He's JD Pickell. That's what I thought of. All right. So we got a clip from one of JD's recent shows. All right. Where he's talking about Nebraska and what we can do and what people should expect, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead and roll that clip, and then we'll react.
You have a quarterback now who I think in Dylan Raiola has the ability to put you over the top. You got a head coach now who's known for what he does in year 3. He's now in year 3. Verified dude at offensive coordinator. Okay, great. Dana Holgerson, check. More weapons, workable schedule, success to build on. All these things are there for Nebraska. So, like, you have climbed the ladder now to be at a point where you can compete to be back, to get to what Timothy's, I think, ultimate question is. Is Nebraska back just yet? I don't think so. But again, I don't think Nebraska, the average fan hearing this in Lincoln, I don't think is saying, what are you talking about? Yes, we're back. They expect to compete at a high level too. They expect to go show up in Indy at a certain point in time here in the not too distant future and play for conference titles. That would, I think, qualify as back for them. Why? Because they've been there. They've tasted that. All right. So all that's to say for Nebraska, this year is about going and getting paid, man. Got the steady job. Let's go elevate. Let's kick it up a notch, Emerald style. Let's go elevate. And let's go find ourselves in a spot where we can claim this time next year we are back under Matt Rhule. So that's, I think, the next key for them, and that's something I'm excited to watch. But great question from Timothy in Scottsdale. Back? Not yet. Working on it? I think so. Making strides.
I mean, yeah, the question I don't think was, are we back? That's a not ASA 8, not ASA. No, hold on. Not ASA 7, not ASA 8. It's an ASA 9 question. I think the question really, even though it wasn't worded that way, is will we be back based on what we do this fall? And so I think that's really what he was asking. So based on how JD Pickell, all right, defined Nebraska being back, what are your thoughts on how he defined Nebraska being back? And then we can discuss how likely it is that we'll be back based on the parameters defined as success for Nebraska being back this fall.
Yeah, I mean, being back is such a weird. It just depends on where, what you grew up with, what you believe Nebraska was to begin with. Because he stated there too, he doesn't think Nebraska fans or people in Lincoln would consider him back till they're in conference championship games. And nowadays, that's really hard. I mean, you can win obviously the playoffs without going to your conference championship. So It's kind of interesting just to go down that path. But even a 9-win season, which I think we would all love, and just Nebraska football would feel back, but it'd be back to Bo Pelini type days. It's not back to top 5 annually playing for the national championship or playing games that will factor into that. So there's a long way to go to being back. And then, as I said before, it's not just doing that once. I mean, Nebraska might be able to do that for 2 years, and we'd claim them as back. But what Tom Osborne and Bob Devaney did for 35 straight years was be in that discussion. So to truly be back, it can't be a blip in the radar, and it really can't even be 5-6 years. I mean, it's got to be a long period, and that just shows you how good they were.
Over 40 years, we had 9+ wins. No other program in the history of college football has ever done that. Okay, just for a little bit of perspective, and this is not how I'm going to define us being back. So Osborne, okay, was Nebraska football coach for 25 years. For 25 years, Nebraska football coach Osborne won more games than any other program in the country. That's not the most impressive part. He could have lost the last 16 games of his career, an entire season plus 4 games, and still won more games than any other college football program in the country. His last 10 games versus top 10 teams, he went 10-0, and they won those games. The average margin of victory is by 21 points per game. Think about that. I'm just going to be quiet and let that set in the universe while I take a drink for a second. Have you thought, like, just let that settle out there for a second? How crazy that is. Now, is that how I define back? No. To Jake's point, I think there's tiers. There's tiers to being back. First of all, we need to keep going in the right direction. Again, Rhule keeps using this word jump. I've advised him not to. He doesn't listen to me for some reason. Just keep going the right direction. But if we're going to keep listening to the head coach, the guy who's getting paid $8-9 million a year, a jump is not one game better, not 8-4, not 8-5. You got to win 9 games if you're talking jump. Personally, if we just keep going in the right direction, we're eventually going to get to 8, 9, 10 wins. But so tier 1 to being back is 9 wins. Tier 3 of the 3 levels here. Tier 3, 9 wins, the thing we did for over 40 straight years, and no other program in the entirety of America did. The thing that Osborne almost got fired for after the 90 season. The thing that Pelini, along with a few other things, got fired for about a little over a decade ago. 9 wins. That's tier 3 on the 3-tier return to being, and I quote, back, in my humble opinion. Number 2, making the college football playoff, which at minimum you're going to have to get 9 wins. And if we're not going to schedule anybody in our non-conference anymore, we're probably going to have to win 10 games in order to do so. All right. So to me, tier 2, college football playoff. Tier 3. I'm sorry. I'm going reverse order. 3, 2, 1. The next tier, the top tier, I'm going to call tier 1, is now you're competing like for titles. The Big Ten title is going to be harder to win than getting in the college football playoff. And frankly, it's not that valuable right now. If we go to 14 teams and you win the Big Ten title, you get an automatic 2 seed in the first round bye, and the college football playoff weekends aren't spread 42 years apart, so the byes actually hurt you, then it will matter. To me, I'm not going to go to the Big Ten championship. Right now, it has no value. Ask Oregon. Right now, it hurts you with the way the byes are set up. I don't care about the Big Ten title. So 9 wins is tier 3. Tier 2, the next level up, making the college football playoff. To me, tier 1, the top tier, is when we are making a deep run in the college football playoffs. When you're becoming one of the final 4 teams. Maybe you get a top 4 seed. Okay, or a top 2 seed, or whatever the case may be. But now we're like one of the final 4 teams. We're in the national title game. We're in the final 8 teams at least, which means you won at least one college football playoff game. Like, to me, that is tier 1. Now, I thought Jake made a great point. The asterisk that I would put at the bottom is doing this way more often than not. Don't do it for 2 years and disappear for a decade. Don't do it for a year and then take 3 years off. Now, you got to keep in mind, there were years when Nebraska was not in the national championship conversation during Osborne's tenure, as great as he was. 9 wins in the 80s meant you were out of the national title conversation probably in October. That's not a slam. That's just the way college football used to be. It was very different back then. For me, being consistent is like out of every 5 years, you're doing at least 9 wins in the college football playoff at least 3 or 4 times, and maybe once or twice you're making a deep run to be back. The first step, again, this is tiers. I don't expect any of that this upcoming fall. I don't say any of it's impossible. Look at Indiana. What I'm saying is let's get to the 9-win tier 3 part of this equation first. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, too. I mean, I think that expectation is coming. And like you said, Matt Rhule's kind of embracing it. But that it's kind of written in stone, right? Because now that Pelini got fired, of course, Solich got fired after 9-win campaigns. Again, both those maybe for Solich, it was the 7 year ahead of him. But it's kind of crazy how that's set in stone. And now, like I said, I think Nebraska fans have had to learn a hard way is 9 wins. That 9 wins isn't a birthright because, Nebraska fans felt that way for so long. And I'm wondering how long, if Nebraska does get back, will we settle right back into that sort of feeling? I'm sure we will.
I love that you birthright. That's how we felt at one point.
Yeah.
Like it's just a given. It's just an automatic. A birthright. Man, that's a great way of putting that. All right. We got more we're going to get into, but real quick, let's at least address this briefly. Transfer receiver Harley Gilmore is no longer with the Nebraska football team. Coach Matt Rhule said, and I quote, nothing criminal or anything like that, just won't be with us anymore, end quote. Any quick thoughts on that before we move on?
Not necessarily. Again, this is the before the season even hits, before we get to fall, you're reminded why championships aren't won in the offseason. For all the excitement about the transfer portal, again, you need guys that are going to hit. A 4-star out of the portal is great, but if he never shows up in the fall, then how much does that really help you? Now, thankfully, I will say this: the wide receiver room has a lot of depth, so at least you feel like you can overcome this. And he's a guy with a ton of potential, but I think he had like 100 yards last year, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a little disappointment as far as the upside.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going to work out, I'd rather know now. 7 practices in the spring rather than 20 practices deep into fall camp. Get the other guys reps who are actually going to be here and playing. Wish him nothing but the best. Matt Rhule said he was, and I quote, cool with his daughters for like a second, end quote, after his viral dancing moment on TikTok earlier this week with Nebraska volleyball star Harper Murray. Murray is a favorite of Vivine and Leona Rhule. All right, another quote from Rhule. The players were making fun of me, end quote, Rhule said. They were like, you were terrible, but deep down inside, they know. Also, it was also brought up, hey, should you be punished for doing a TikTok dance in the facility? No, it was in the foyer area, which is a public area. He made clear to talk about that as well. What are your thoughts on Rhule's TikTok dance, being cool for a moment, but not really, because when you're a parent, you're never cool in your kids' eyes once they turn about, 9. What are your thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah, I gotta stand up for the players a little bit here. This is this is clearly TikToking, and whether it's in the facility, by the facility, whatever it may be, he's dancing on TikTok. I think he should run some stadium stairs.
I just want to see him run stadium stairs. I don't care if it's valid or not. I just want to watch it. Rich Rod is the one who said no TikTok dancing at all.
Yeah.
Rhule said not in the facility. All right. And I quote, it's where we should be, and it's about where I thought it would be, end quote. Matt Rhule says on the overall progression of the Nebraska football team this offseason, his basic message, the program has reached a steady place, which makes it easier to maintain an onward and upward trajectory. We'll play the clip in the next segment. But basically, he talks about he believes they're going to be a good football team. Now, he doesn't want to go too far one way or the other. We are where he wants the team to be, and he feels like we're going to be a good football team. There's been a lot of things said this offseason. Again, the offensive line has been a highlight of the offseason, he said. The defensive line is going to be one of the best around. Those are 2 or the 3 biggest question marks on the entire team right there. I feel like, and then he specifically addressed it's like he listens to our show and the things we have question marks about, he makes sure to address on the press conference. You think he sits there, all right, Adam and Jake talked about this, I better address this, and I better talk about that. You think he ever does that? Because that's what I do to his press conferences. I break him down and talk about him. Maybe he does that about our show. Well, this was a terrible take by Adam. I'll let him know about that later. You ever think he does that, or has somebody who does that and gives him the notes? Because he seems to, the very things that we question, he seems to address in the press conferences. Say yes. Thank you.
I think he absolutely does.
I just want to act like people listen to us.
Who wouldn't listen to us? I don't know.
That's a great idea. That's a great point right there. Phenomenal. Best point of the day, Jake. All right, Brett Mowers is full-time in working with the Nebraska kickers and punters. This year, Matt Rhule said, Nebraska football is finishing practice number 7. So they're 8. They'll do practice number 8 this week to kick off the week of the spring here in Lincoln. Coach Matt Rhule will be in the interview room soon to go over the past couple. This was heading into the press conference. Oh, this is the offensive line quote. We will save that. All right. We will save the offensive line quote and where he talks about he believes we're going to be a good team for when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. More Nebraska football talk. Matt Rhule dissecting us and us dissecting him when we come back.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Pre-order your Hog Wild slow-smoked Easter ham today. Hog Wild selects the highest quality whole ham and slow smokes them until they're tender and delicious. Our 100% boneless ham is approximately 4 pounds and $50. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Now's the time to schedule your air conditioner service check with Bryant. Make sure it's ready to keep you cool and comfortable when you really need it. Call Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Tuesday, April 1st, Wolves place West Ham at 1:45 p.m., followed by Nottingham Forest versus Man United at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, April 2nd, Newcastle plays Brentford at 1:45 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Everton at 2 p.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 70 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. I did not realize we were back from commercial break, so I am chewing. Jake, talk for a minute, please.
Yeah, we are back here. We got plenty to listen to. I know we got a clip from Matt Rhule from the other day as he spoke on Saturday, so might as well go ahead and roll that, and we'll react.
Yeah, no, I expect us to be pretty good. I think we have a good team. I expect us to be good. So, that's me being like right down the middle. I'm not saying we're here. I'm not saying we're here. I think we should be good. We got a good team. Got good players. Guys have been around a while. We return a quarterback, who's played. We got, a bunch of guys who played. The first 2 years have been a lot of work, and a lot of work, not by me, by a lot of people. And I think a lot of that work has come into fruition. Like the amount of things that we're having to do are less and less and less. We have areas that we have to improve upon. We have areas, and when I say improve upon, we have a lot of young players. I have to see how they play, but I think we're doing a really nice job. I think the players are doing a really nice job. So it's about where I thought it should be. It's where it should be, and it's about where I thought it would be.
So first of all, Matt Rhule has done a lot of work. Like, one of the reasons I have more faith in Matt Rhule, and I still got to see it. I still have to see it on the field. The offseason moves, from the coaching moves to the transfer portal to a lot of these things. Like, he's making good moves. I still have to see it. But one of the reasons that helps give me more faith in Matt Rhule is that man is grinding. He is grinding, and I've talked about how people have told me how he enjoys it, and I almost find it unfathomable that somebody could enjoy grinding that much for that long. It's part of the job right now, and he's embraced it, and that is huge, because you see other coaches leaving to go from being a head coach to being an OC or a DC. 2 years ago in the spring, there was a head coach who left. I forget what the school was. He left to go be a tight ends coach in the middle of spring, and they had to shut down spring practices. Oh, I talked about it on the show what happened. It was a smaller school. And this man did the opposite. This man embraced it. Now, let's be real. If I'm Matt Rhule, it's not just about Nebraska football. I'm not saying he doesn't love Nebraska or doesn't love Nebraska football, but if I'm Matt Rhule, it's also my career. Like, my career is going to be affected by this. I can't have things go sideways at Carolina and then Nebraska as well. So let's keep the whole scope of things. Let's keep everything in the whole scope of things as we're thinking about this, talking about this, looking at this. Again, I don't like to just look at the corner of the picture. I want to see the whole picture and the whole scope of everything. But the man is grinding. I don't think you can ask much more of him. From the moves he's made, coaching, personnel-wise, and other things, I think he's legit doing a good job. He's figured out, hey, I've got to delegate. A head football coach cannot do this all anymore. It's just impossible. He's brought in guys that he trusts, guys he believes will do a good job, guys who have good resumes. And you might question John Butler, can't question the resume. You can't question a lot of these things as far as the why behind it. Now, the proof is in the pudding. In other words, what are we going to see on the field in the fall? That's ultimately what's going to matter. The thing that still makes me nervous is when it comes to beating teams with winning records. He doesn't have a phenomenal record versus ranked teams versus Power 4 teams. He's never beaten a Power 4 ranked team. He's only beaten 2 ranked teams. When he faces that tougher competition, when it gets beyond culture, motivation, weight room, great personnel, and you've got to make in-game adjustments versus the best of the best, I have not seen him do that yet. That is my biggest question mark. The offseason moves, phenomenal. His work ethic, phenomenal. The way he represents Nebraska with class, phenomenal. Do I believe we're going to win 8 or more games this year? Yes, I do. Am I 1,000% convinced we're going to make the jump to 9 or more? No, I'm not. Is it possible? Absolutely. I hearken back to certain games where we flat out got out coached in the middle of the game. You go back to his career against those upper echelon, more difficult teams, higher level coaches. The in-game adjustments have not gone his way. Now, for a long time, people questioned a lot of things about Osborne. Over time, you learn, you get better, you improve. Matt Rhule has a mirror, he uses it, and he's willing to be honest with himself. And that's another thing I love about him, because there's too many coaches who don't and won't. By the way, the 2 guys that are specifically in my mind have been fired. They went elsewhere, ain't done great either there. I'll keep their names out of it, but if I said them, everyone would know who it is. My point is, these things give me legit reason and hope in Matt Rhule and what he's doing. I just got to actually see it come the fall. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, it's fascinating for those. I mean, again, it's the third year, and of course, I think everybody knows the story. But just in case you don't know the stats, 6-6 at Temple his second year, 7-6 at Baylor his second year, 7-6 at Nebraska his second year, and then the third year 10-4, and then 10-3 at Temple, and then 11-3 at Baylor for that third year. We'll see what happens at Nebraska, but that is the question. And it's interesting that you bring up the not beating top 25 teams and stuff like that, because there is a whole level beyond just reaching 9 wins about whether this program can be taken to the next level. But I'm sure he wants to know. That's what everybody wants to see, right? If you stick at a program, you stay after 10-win seasons, 11-win seasons. Can you build it up to keep it that way? And I'll be honest, there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, you got different coordinators at every, offense, defense, special teams. So there's a little bit of concern to me about, hey, just stamp in year 3 Matt Rhule. It's proven. We've seen it before. Well, it looks a little bit different here at Nebraska, but he should know about what his teams should look like, or kind of where they should be around the third year to take that next step. And if he's confident that it's about there, or about where he would expect it to be, then you would think that things are kind of on pace, on plan for Nebraska to take that step and win 9 or 10 games this year. And so there's reasons. I mean, I think after the UCLA loss, he just didn't have a whole lot of answers. We obviously saw Scott Frost not have a whole lot of answers in a lot of press conferences, but he addressed it right away. Went out there, tried to find an answer, and so I think that's part of what we're going to have to see moving forward. I always appreciate that he will not always have to be the smartest guy in the room, and say that he can learn from others, learn from people that have done it before. Dana Holgorsen, I know we're used to it now, right? Because it's been so long and it's been there. That was still that I've never seen anything like that in college football before. And just keep in mind, Dana Holgorsen has more of a head coach history in college football than Matt Rhule does, and to be as a successful one. I know it didn't end well there, and that's why he's out of a job. But so it's just kind of interesting to go down this path and see how it all lands. But so I think it's a little bit of the bite too from the Scott Frost. He came in and said, year 2, look out. We're going to be great in year 2, basically. So, I think there's a little bit of that broken heart type of situation as a Husker fan to think, okay, I don't want to lock in my year 3 expectation, while at the same time understanding that's what this hire was about. This hire wasn't about winning in 2023 as much as they would have still liked to, but it was really about building a steady foundation for a program leading well into the future, and that should start paying dividends this season.
Well, to your point, Dana Holgorsen's been a head coach 13 years in college football, which is more actual years than Matt Rhule, for whatever that means. All right, college football is different than the last time Matt Rhule did this. It's insanely different. And man, I'd sure love to get to 9 wins and then have to try to figure out how to get to 10 and 11. I'd love to have that problem. So I'd love to have that issue. Oh man, now let's get to 10. Now let's get to 11. Let's get to 9. Let's get to 8. I would love to have that problem. No, when you brought up UC, those are the games that make me nervous. And as I wasn't going to say the name because I've said the games. I've said them before. But no, UCLA, Illinois, Iowa. Games where it was just we were the better team, or we were flat out playing better, yet we had the lower score at the end of the game. That's what's got to get figured out. No, to your point with Scott Frost, we were worse in year 2 than year 1. And we started 0-6 in year 1. Now, our record was slightly better. I believe we went from 3-9 to 4-8. But if you ask me which team was better, we were better year 1.
Yeah.
Some people would argue the best 3-9 team of all time. If you remember that joke from umpteen years ago, I never found that funny. That was just me. I guess you do things in the offseason to entertain yourself, and I'm no different. All right, Matt Rhule also said, and I quote, "I think the offensive line this spring has been one of our highlights," end quote. Go. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, boy. I mean, there's a lot of injuries on that offensive front. So I wonder if that's a scale type of.
What does that mean?
Is that what? Yeah, what does
a lot of these starters are out? What does this mean?
Yeah, which is good for depth at least.
So, okay, I had a hard time with this. I had the D-line thing. At least we've got most of our D linemen there. Jalen George, I know was out, but most guys are until the fall. Most guys are there, so you can get an evaluation. But I pointed it out at the time. I'm like, he said this before they'd even had a practice in pads. Okay, now we got a lot of guys out on the offensive line for the spring. And he's saying this. First of all, I don't know what else he's supposed to say. Like I said earlier, oh, we suck and we're awful. Like, coach's not going to say that. But he's not saying, man, the offensive line's getting better, we're improving. It's one of the highlights. He's not talking about the D-line, dude. We've got some potential. We are working with these guys, and we're excited to see what they can do. We're one of the best defensive line. And I quote, we're going to have one of the best defensive lines around. He is taking hard line stances. At times when we weren't in pads, and we got a bunch of guys injured when you're talking about the offensive line. I'm not saying he's not right. What I'm saying is I have to see it. I have to see it. I love the coaching moves that we've made. I love the portal moves that we've made. Hardly Gilmore didn't work out. Guys are going to come and go. I literally put 0.01% stock in how important that is. No disrespect to Hardly Gilmore. Guys are going to come and go. Guys are going to work out. They're not going to work out. You got to have your core guys. If you got core guys, you got a chance. My question is, who are the core guys? Other people can come and go. That's normal and natural, especially in the transfer portal day and age of college football that we're in right now. Who are the core guys? That's my question. Who are the core guys leading this team? And I just got to see it on the field. That's kind of my takeaway there. We are going to talk some Final Four. Dude, I got a whole press conference breakdown here. Like when I say this show is loaded every day, we have to wait till tomorrow to talk about most of this. All right. Couple of recruiting updates. South Dakota standout left tackle Joe Cotton is entering the transfer portal with the do not contact tag. 6'7", 315 pounds. Cotton was all conference in 2024 and an FCS freshman All-American. It seems like he might know where he's going with a do not contact tag. We'll see what happens. I'm just curious about these things, especially when it comes to offensive linemen and offensive tackles. All right, Jake Hildebrand, 2027 offensive tackle from Basha High School in Gilbert, Arizona. The 6'6", 285-pound prospect is rated as the top overall tackle and number 21 recruit nationally by 247. Following his Nebraska visit, Hildebrand said he had a busy weekend, had an amazing experience at Nebraska this past weekend. I'm very grateful for the hospitality and attention given to me. I had so much fun learning about the program and seeing the facilities. Hildebrand was hopeful to build more of a relationship with one of Nebraska's coaches, that coach being offensive line coach Donovan Rhule. And I quote, he said, I visited just because I wanted to get to know Nebraska and Lincoln more and to get to know Coach Rhule more. That's exactly what happened. And quote, all right, here's another quote. Coach Rhule stood out the most to me, just the way he was coaching his players. And I really liked the way he did it, where it was tough, but then he would love you up after. So I've talked about a lot of these talented linemen coming in and talent that we've had on the offensive line. I genuinely have not looked this up. I have a general idea, but you might know more specifically. Since Raiola's gotten here as the offensive line coach, what does our recruiting specifically on the offensive line look like the past 3 or 4 years? Do you know, Jake? How does it compare to before he got here when we got Ben Hart and Corcoran and Prohaska and all these guys? Has it been at the same level?
Well, I mean, there's the Grant Bricks. I mean, there's some high 4-star type of guys.
Preston Tamura from Hawaii.
Yeah. So I would say, I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but I'd say on pace with what they've had.
Okay. That was just a question I had.
But you look at that's the beginning of the career, the opposite in the career. I was just looking into this. Nebraska's had 2 they've had one day one guy since Spencer Long. First 3 rounds, and that's Cam Jorgens. So you talk about that offensive line consistency. That's what I kind of think of as like, if the offensive line looks good for Matt Rhule, is they comparing it to last year, the last 10 years, because quite honestly, it needs to rise above that level quite a bit.
Yes. And just for comparison for people, in the past 18 years, Nebraska has only had 3 first-round draft picks. So we need to get more guys drafted. We need to get more guys drafted in higher rounds. Now, this doesn't always mean you're a better football team, but it means you're at least accumulating more talent, better at talent acquisition, which gives you a chance to be better and play at a higher level. Matt Rhule even said, better players I have, the better coach I am. Funny how that works. All right. I will say this. Grant Bricks was working at right tackle over the past weekend at practice. So I've mentioned a few times, I wonder, because he's athletic enough to go out there, I wonder if he'll get some reps at tackle, at least this spring with quite a few offensive linemen out. He's getting reps at right tackle. So maybe he's competing. Well, obviously he's competing, but maybe he continues to get reps in the fall when some of these offensive linemen come back healthy. Maybe he goes to guard. I'm curious to see what happens. My question mark with the offensive line is just consistency. I feel fairly good about the interior part. Talked about that a million times. The tackles. Where are we at with the offensive tackles? That's what I'm curious to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I mean, we got the national championship of college basketball. I've got 1, 3, 4. I got 6 pages of notes from the press conference here and things from over the weekend. I don't know. When we come back, we're going to talk about a whole plethora of stuff. Don't go anywhere. We shall return.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Tuesday, April 1st, Wolves place West Ham at 1:45 p.m., followed by Nottingham Forest versus Man United at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, April 2nd, Newcastle plays Brentford at 1:45 a.m., followed by Liverpool versus Everton at 2 p.m. Liverpool currently leads the standings with 70 points. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena April 18th through the 19th. Brought to you by BKT Tires. Tickets on sale now at monsterjam.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Now's the perfect time to get even stronger at Planet Fitness. Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Mix up your routine or create a customized workout plan with free fitness training. That's right. Certified trainers, unlimited sessions with best-in-class equipment. Plus, there's over 2,700 convenient locations to choose from, with most open 24 hours. Save $28 or more today when you join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends April 11th. See Home Club for details.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final segment, sadness, of the Adam Carriker Show here on a glorious Monday. I have managed to help rise Jake from the ashes of his case of the Mondays. How you feeling now, Jake?
I'm
you much
feeling
better?
energized. I'm ready to roll.
I like it. That and you drank a lot of caffeine. I assume that's what you did. All right. We are going to dive right into the national championship game tonight and then back. And there's no way we're going to get through all this, so we'll roll over into tomorrow. But press conference reactions from this past weekend. Florida, Houston. First of all, I just want to say, my anti-SEC bias when we picked the NCAA tournament bracket about sunk the ship. But my overall overwhelming knowledge of college basketball is undeniable, and I have already clinched the championship in my family bracket. I beat a 15-year-old, 13-year-old, 12-year-old, 2 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and my wife. So I just want it to be known, it doesn't matter who wins tonight. I've already beaten my wife, who's smarter than I am, and a bunch of children. How about you, Jake?
My tournament bracket did not go so well. And somehow I tied. I played fantasy basketball, and I tied the championship game, and they gave it to the other guy because he scored more points than me in the regular season. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Seems a little fishy.
Yeah.
And the right way to do it. All right, I'm going to go with, I already had Florida predicted to win. So I hammer SEC all the time, and then I predicted Florida, who, as far as I know, is still in the SEC to win. Houston, though, did you watch the end of that Duke game?
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Houston couldn't make a basket to save their souls, not even their lives, their soul. They started out 1 for 13. I mean, it was some of the ugliest shooting I've ever seen. The best defensive player in the entire country goes down, gets hurt. The entire game, Duke is just like on the edge of blowing them out. Just couldn't quite do it. Had double-digit leads, couldn't quite. And then all of a sudden, boom, Houston whittles a little. Then Houston whittles a little more. Then all of a sudden, Houston starts making baskets. All of a sudden, the game is freaking tied. Duke misses multiple free throws in the last minute. Houston goes 6 for 6. They did not out-basketball Duke. They out-gritted, they out-toughed, and they out-mentally toughed Duke. And they won. And they're in the championship game versus Florida, who I think is the best team in the country. I just thought it was a highly entertaining game versus Houston and Duke. But that being said, I'm going to take Florida over Houston. I can give you all the reasons why, but we're going to try to get back to the press conference real quick. I'm going Florida over Houston. And I'm just going to throw it out there again. It doesn't matter. I already won my bracket. Either way. But, Jake, who are you taking?
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for this game because it feels like these are two teams that just refuse to lose. As you pointed out, Houston there with that comeback against Duke. And then Florida just got the most clutch player, I think, in the country. That's why I'm going to go with Walter Clayton Jr. in Florida here tonight. But it's kind of interesting, too. I always like the coaching matchups, kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum here. Todd Golden, 39 years old in just his third season at Florida. And if they win, you could. I've heard arguments already that Florida could jump into the blue blood discussion of college basketball. I don't know if I'd go that far, but they definitely are kind of in that second tier. And then on the opposite side, Kelvin Sampson, who I think a lot of us remember specifically at Oklahoma when Nebraska used to battle them in the Big 12 days. Close to 70 years old and has put a lot of time and work into this. And of course, had his kind of ups and downs. He ran out of Indiana there for some violations and stuff, long ago. But it's quite a rise to prominence for Houston and Kelvin Sampson. So I think Florida's going to win. I'm kind of cheering for Houston just to see Kelvin Sampson, see if he can get one.
You know what? I am cheering for Houston. And I'm cheering for Houston because, again, I've already won my bracket, so it doesn't matter. I just like the underdog story. I like Kelvin Sampson. Houston has been a number 1 seed 3 years in a row. They beat Duke, as I mentioned. Duke was 8-2 all-time in Final Four games up until that game on Saturday. This will be Houston's 3rd national championship game appearance. It's time they get the win. I am rooting for Houston. just kind of a cool story. I like the grittiness. They're the number one defensive team in the entire country. It was interesting. Duke was the number one offensive team in the country going into that game. Houston was number one defensive team. So I'm going to go for defense. Oh, and did you know that Nebraska in the Crown tournament held UCF to 39.7% shooting? They're 14-2 this year when they hold teams under 40% shooting. I was going to talk about that earlier. I forgot to mention that. All right. I'm taking Florida, and this is not me trying to play both sides of the table. Like, I'm genuinely taking Florida to win, but I'm also rooting for Houston. Part of me is concerned. I hope this is a close game.
Yeah.
I hope it is a close game. All right. We got about 2 minutes here. Let's light this candle. All right. Rhule says it's not his team anymore. It's back to the press conference from this past weekend. It's our team. Lots of elite people are running the program. You have to delegate in college football today, and he's embraced that. And that's why he brings in people that he trusts. Players are doing a great job of coaching each other. No player is really lagging behind. That's what I'm talking about, the core players. You're going to have people come and go. No big deal. It sucks, but it is what it is. Core players. If what he's saying is true here, to the degree that I hope it's true, all right, hopefully we got a good nucleus and core players leading this team. Not married to any player, wants the 11 best players out there. The team is right where he wants it to be. Mentioned that. 4 deep with solid guys at some position. 4 deep. 4 deep. All right. Very competitive team now. A lot more 2-minute work this spring that's been talked about. Went live for at least 25% of the practice. Now, he didn't say that. That was some of the onlookers that were there doing a lot of live work. Okay. Let's see. GoPro on the helmets of the quarterbacks has really helped. GoPro on the helmets. Get the quarterback's view of everything. I like that. Scout team is one of the best things that can happen to you if you want to be a great player. I agree with that. I hated scout team. It absolutely sucked. It made me work harder and appreciate things more. And actually, in a weird way, it can make you better. All right. Deshaun Singleton will shoot out of a cannon and make a jump this year, he believes. All right. John Hull has been limited in practice due to a calf injury. Brett Maher is now full-time. I already mentioned that. All right. Tristan Alvano is finally kicking again. He did miss a couple of kicks from inside the 40. Long snapping and holds look good during live periods and in drills as well. I'm just going to repeat that. Long snapping and holds look good during live periods and in drills, Jake.
Yes.
15 exclamation points. And yes, I like that. Edge rushers are all dudes. Absolute freaks. David Hofkin, number 53, is a freak of nature. Says he's quite intimidating. I'll put it that way. And Warre, Keona Davis are both looking like really good players, potential all-conference type guys. And Warre did have to redo a couple of drills a couple of times. I basically got a lot of talent, a lot of places, and I don't want to rush through the rest of this. So I want to take our time and get through the rest of this in appropriate fashion. You got any final thoughts before I duck out of here? The Bach block continues. That's right. All right, with the captain. But before I duck out of here, you got any final thoughts here?
No, just, I mean, it's good to hear the Alvano news, but you just, still struggling a little bit. Sounds like that's one I think a lot of people are really interested in. I don't think he's the favorite to have that job anymore. I think Hull's the probably the kicker for Nebraska, so he's gonna have to step up his game.
I would agree. Making 8 in a row, that's a big deal. All right, like he did last year until the mishap with the snap at the end of the Iowa game, which was very unfortunate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do not have a case of the Mondays. Have a glorious week, and until next time, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK